I'm saying that's what this is all about, right? Clothes, bank rolls, and hoes, you know what I'm saying? Yo, then what, man? What?
Visualizing the realism of life and actuality. Fuck who's the baddest, a person's status depends on salary and my mentality.
Today is November 13th, 2023. Today is a Monday. It has been a while since I have recorded an episode of Tio. Now, in the past few days, I have been dipping my toes into some reaction content. Not to knock on any reactioneers, I guess you could say, or reactioners, or those types of people on the internet, but I find it a very easy form of content to make. I guess put on a trailer for a movie I've been slightly interested in anyways, that I've heard about, and I'll put it on and I'll just leave it running, and I'll just say what I think. It's very easy. And I haven't been trying to make a switch to reactionary content, although it is bringing in an unbelievable amount of views, which is very flattering. It's got the channel almost up to 10 subscribers now. That's also not the reason why I haven't been making episodes of Tio. It's just been, I don't even know. It's just been a rough few weeks, I guess. I've kind of lost track, but I'm just trying to think about, I usually hang out with friends weekly, like one day out of the week, and I'm trying to count how many days I've turned them down to convert that into like a number of weeks. I think it's been like 3 or 4. And I guess I don't know what's been happening. I guess I don't feel terrible, but I really don't feel great. I don't feel like I'm any more introverted or closeted, or I'm not closeted, secluded than I have been anymore lately, but I just don't want to interact with anybody. I haven't been productive. I haven't been doing anything meaningful or anything that makes me feel complete. And I know exactly what does make what does feel meaningful and what does make me complete, and I just haven't been doing it. My place, my house has been getting way dirtier. I've just been taking less care of it. I'm just not sure what's going on with me. I'm not like sick or anything. I feel fine, but I'm clearly not. I just don't know what's going on with it. It's not like a serious thing. It's just like I don't know what to do about it. It's one of those things where the only people who would get it are the people who I don't want to interact with right now for literally no reason. It's not like we're in a fight or anything, or we even talk. It's just I haven't talked to them in a while, and for some reason I just don't want to pick it back up. And it's something else where it's like if you were to tell your family, they would just tell you like, oh, you just need to get more exercise and go out more, and it's like I already do plenty of that, and it's like there are a few same different reasons for everything. It's like I eat fine, I work out fine, I get plenty of sunlight, like I'm like doing all the I've never stopped doing any of the stuff, right? The stuff that you should do. I don't know. I feel so weird, man. I feel like I'm not sure if I'm coming out to the end of it, if I'm meeting the end of it sooner or later, but I know nothing's gonna change unless I change, and I'm planning to do a couple things that I feel like, oh shit, did I spill water? Nope, I didn't spill any water, but I have a couple things planned up on the horizon that will hopefully rip me out of this rut. I'm not sure what you would call it. I don't have any right words for it. I definitely don't want to call it depression, because I've seen, at least recently, I've seen a lot more examples of like what a real extreme crippling depression can do to a person. It's like I don't want to use that as like a daily term, and I see like what that shit could really be like. So I just don't know what it is. I don't know. I just don't have an answer for it. I will say this: what I usually do is I'll usually get on call with my friends. I'll usually game. I'll usually watch a movie or some TV shows. On my lately on a rut. Lately on my roll, I've been on some South Park. That was the last thing that I watched. Now the only TV I consume regularly now is 90 Day Fiance, but I don't even watch it. I just leave it on while I go to bed. Uh, because honestly, 90 Day Fiance deserves its own episode of TTO of how much it just pisses me off. Just how everybody there is either insufferable or there's like two or three people on there who just don't deserve to be there at all. It's like you should not be on this reality TV show. Um, my I do that usually, and I'll usually like do some animation, reading, and then I'll like listen to something, and then I'll go to bed. I haven't been doing any of that. I've mostly been. It's kind of weird to say. I've mostly just been like looking on Amazon, but I haven't been buying anything. I've done all my Christmas shopping because I like to get it done ridiculously early. Like I don't mind if these presents just like lay around my house. Like I don't care. But I like to get it done like at the beginning of November. Like I don't want to be tossling and running over anybody else's, like, because like I know how busy like post offices and stuff like that can get, and I know it's hell. I'm not doing it for them, but it would be nice if I was doing it for them. I just like to get it out of the way now so I don't have to do it later. And my rule of thumb is I usually buy somebody one big gift that I know that they've been like and when I say one big gift, I mean like an expensive thing, which I usually don't like doing because I like to knock out everybody, and when I say everybody, I mean the immediate family that comes over for Christmas. I like to do all their shopping for like less than like $400. So that's like what, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight or nine people. I like to knock it out about that price. I feel like you could do that pretty easy. My rule of thumb basically is two small presents that I know that they'll use every day or they'll interact with every day, because then like even if it's like a small cheap present, if they interact with it every day, it's usually like a good, and I don't mean something like chapstick. Like they'll use chapstick every day, but when it's out, you know. Unless they're like a chapstick fanatic, then go all ham. But I mean, if they like to love to like binge watch TV, right? Why not get them like a holster for all the remotes? You know, we have one for the soundbar, one for the Roku, one for the DVD player. Like why not get them all that? And then maybe like a footrest or something. It's like it's nothing big, it's nothing giant, and it's certainly not expensive or luxurious, but they're small things that they would use every single day. And I feel like those are the best presents. Really, are just small things that you know that you'll use every single day, or things that you thought about buying yourself. You're like, not really. They're a little too expensive to buy myself, even though I know I would use it every day. I'm like, because you know, people don't like treating themselves. I feel like I have the opposite problem lately. I feel like I treat myself too much. Not as of late. I used to have a big bad Amazon shopping addiction. And I want to say I still do, and that I haven't kicked it because I haven't bought anything off of Amazon exclusively for me, like big giant packages of like gifts, you know, because like I like to buy myself gifts all the time to make myself feel good. And I haven't done that lately, but I have been browsing almost twice as much. Just like fantasizing. It's like, oh, I want this and I want this, and that's honestly, that might be more fun than just receiving. And it's certainly less expensive, but it's so much more time consuming. I just haven't been getting anything done, and I say that, and that's not the source of my problems, right? That's just one of the things I've been doing because of this rut. Like that's not the cause of this rut. I want to make that very clear. I started doing this like well after, like within the past like 4 or 5 days, and like this few week rut, and I cannot stop. Um, so yeah, no, I got everybody's Christmas shopping done. I did buy myself like a couple things, but they're not like nice things. They're just like a couple things. Like, well, for starters, here's something that's interesting that I think I want to make a video on later, like an actual video, not like an audio show thing. I found my old fourth generation iPod in a drawer. This thing was my baby. The screen's all cracked. You could hear it open. The screen's all cracked. There's like a giant hole in it, exposing all the circuit boards. The wallpapers are like 244p, Five Nights at Freddy's, like terrible drawings. It's got Minecraft Pocket Edition on it with like a bunch of worlds that I so badly want to look through. I'm assuming I stopped using it in around Halloween because there's just like a bunch of Halloween apps downloaded. There's like a bunch of photos from like comic conventions and just like video clips of me. This is from like 10 years ago, by the way. And video clips of me just like watching The Simpsons, like me recording The Simpsons like while I go to bed. And it's got all my music on here, dude. There's like 1,000 songs in here. It's an iPod that I inherited from my sister, and then she just put all songs that I wanted on here. So I listened to like all of them. It's like where I got my taste in music. So in here, there's like a lot of like movie soundtracks. There's like a lot of Taylor Swift and like Lil Wayne for some reason. I know she was into Lil Wayne, Black Eyed Peas and freaking Owl City, just like teenage girl stuff from like the mid 2000s, like all that. Rihanna, Papa Roach, Justin Bieber, Mariah Carey, just like everything. And then you see like all that, and then it just hard stops, and it's like the Living Tombstone, Five Nights at Freddy's. It's like you could easily tell, like pick out easily like what songs I asked her to download to the iPod and which ones are mine. Because mines are usually just like the most popular singles from movies, like Who Let the Dogs Out from like Garfield, and like Megamind, Bad to the Bone, and I Want Candy from Hop, and just stuff like that. It's just been a real joy to listen through and look through. Please leave in the comments any suggestions for backup programs that I can download to get all the songs off of this thing, because I found one called iMazing, and I thought it was gonna be like perfect, and then I did it, and they were like, well, we can only back up 50 songs at a time, and that was after like 2 hours of waiting for it to back up the iPod, which it just didn't do because it didn't let me know that I needed the full version of the software, which I'm not paying for. I'm just surprised after like a decade of this. I would call this like harsh love, because I like love this thing, and I didn't take care of it, not because I didn't know how special it was. It was just because I was using it so often. I just had it, just like, God, like this was because as a kid I didn't grow up with Wi-Fi or like home internet or a home computer, so this was it. Like this and the TV that played PBS in my room, this was my entertainment, this was my music, this was my radio, this was mine. This was it. Like this was my everything. And I think that's why I just, like, after a decade of like moving and like getting like going and having stuff going around, I just never threw it away, and I never threw it all the way to the back. It's just always been here. And I just never, it was straight up just, I never bought a charging cable for it. It was the one thing that I needed to like keep using it. Not like, this thing is amazing. Like, no, it still works. It's like still responsive. For some reason, it thinks it thinks that it's 1970. It thinks that it's January 1st, 1970, and that it's 2:48 a.m. when it's not. It's 6:53 p.m. November 13th, 2023. Today is a Monday. Which I don't know. It's this wonderful little device. It's brought me so much joy. I'm just so happy it's here. The power button doesn't work. There's a giant hole in it. There's a yellowing Ghostbusters case that was clearly printed on some shitty Etsy store with like a piece of copy paper with the Ghostbusters logo on it, and you could see like a strip, like a line of ink from like the next sticker that they cut to like put in like another shitty iPod case that doesn't really protect anything. There's tape over the hole so that dust doesn't get in it. I ripped off the screen protector because it just made things too hard to see. God, this thing is just wonderful. I'm just so glad it's here. Which, by the way, something I didn't expect, the speakers off this thing do not sound great, but when you plug headphones into it, it sounds like particularly like really good. And I'm not saying that like for nostalgia's sake. I'm saying like when you listen to something through your computer off of YouTube, like for an example, there's a song on here that I was obsessed with as a kid. God, what was the name of the artist? It was a Ready Set. I think it was a Ready Set, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a Ready Set. It was the Ready Set Love Like Whoa. That was the name of the band, and then they had a song called Love Like Whoa, and I was obsessed with it. It was like the most boy bandy song that you could possibly get, but I guess I love that song. And listening to it off of YouTube, through headphones out of my PC instead of like the regular like aux cord. Like it sounds fine, like it sounds okay, but for some reason when I listen to it through my iPod, for some reason when I listen to it through this iPod, I don't know why, it sounds like so much more like punchy, and like everything sounds so much more separated. Like I don't know what it is. It's gotta just be me, but I don't know. It just sounds really nice. Like it sounds like a really nice. I mean, I guess this thing was built to like pump out music, and my computer really wasn't. But I don't know. It's just something else. Something else I want to point out is I do think I am gonna make a video on it, because one thing that pissed me off, not about this iPod, one thing that pissed me off about the internet in general is that whenever I was looking up iPod, they would always show the iPod, but they would never show the music app. And the only time that they would ever show the music app is when it was a newer iPod and they were showing off iTunes. I'm like, iTunes isn't the music app though. This is iTunes. I don't want iTunes or Apple Music. I want to see the music app off of iPod. And then whenever you look up the music app off of iPod, there's just about a million videos about this knockoff app, the Apple took from the App Store. That was called like iPod Viewer, that would just make it so that iTunes looked like an old classic iPod with like a click wheel and stuff like that. And nobody made a video on what the UI for like the old music app from the old iPod Touches looked like. And I don't know why that just pissed me off, because it was like, I want to see what this interface looks like, because it was so beautiful. It was not beautiful. Well, it was beautiful, because like you had the regular like basic like interface with like the big giant scrolling like walls of text and like albums and stuff like that, right? To view what music you were looking at. And then you had like and then you had a thing where if you turned it on its side, it would take every single album that you had and it would make them into like big giant squares, and it would look like you're flipping through them like a bunch of records in a crate. And you could go through them and then you click them and they flip around and they'd have a list of the songs there. And I'm like, that's amazing. We have so many music streaming services and stuff like that don't have just a nice, like it's a clean, it's not tacky at all. It's like beautiful looking, and it's like neat, and it's fine, and it's like useful, and it's interesting looking without being tacky. It's like it's perfect. It's great. And I don't know why things like Spotify and stuff like that are just walls of text. Like, why can't they have a nice looking unique interface like this? Like nothing else has an interface like this, and it's great. And I was so pissed off because I couldn't find any way to see it, and without a charging cable to look at my iPod, I had no way to re-experience it, and that pissed me off that I didn't have that ability to. But then I got a charging cable in the mail, and it took literally like 5 seconds for it to charge up to 100%. And I got to see it, and it's just amazing. It's just as amazing as I remember it. It's fantastic. I would also like to point out I was terrible, or at least my sister was terrible, organizing this music, because there's about a billion albums that are all like the exact same like cover and title, but they're all like different audio qualities, and they all have like 2 or 3 songs in them. And when you look at the artist, like Maroon 5, like the artist doesn't say Maroon 5. It says like google.site like rip to iPod. So it's like okay, she was ripping music, but I think that's cool. I guess I don't know. It's so neat. It's just like such an untampered. I'm never gonna connect it to the internet, I don't think, because in risk of it getting like updated or something like that. I don't want it, because it's like it's such a perfectly cut off time capsule of what was, and I'm just so happy that I have my hands on it again. I was contemplating about transferring everything in this iPod over to a new iPod Generation 4, but I think I'm just gonna keep this one, honestly. Like it's not in great condition, but I still love it. It's been there so long for me that I feel like I kind of need to keep it. It's gonna be around forever. Not forever. One day the battery will blow up and it'll be dead. But until then, it's serving me great. It's serving me great. I mean, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take it to work and I might take it on a bike ride or two. That might be fun. But I don't know, I'm just so glad this thing is back. It's like it's because it's not just a thing from my childhood, right? It's not just that it's a thing from my childhood that I cared about. It was that this was my literal everything. Other than like the free TV cable that I had, and like my DVDs and stuff like that. Like that was like that's where I got music. Like I got my movies and stuff from my TV. I didn't have a game console or anything like that. I had like a Wii, but I never used it. When I needed music, like the things that some people dedicate their lives to, which I wanted a lot because I was like a big artsy and crafty kind of guy. When I wanted music, that's what I ran to. That was my every. I didn't have internet or YouTube to like listen to songs. Like that was it. Like that was mine. And if some of you were wondering, well, if you didn't have any internet to like listen to songs, how'd you get Five Nights at Freddy's on there? How'd you know about Five Nights at Freddy's? It's because whenever I would go to my grandma's house, we used to do a thing where every Monday we would go to my grandma's house. My parents would watch with my grandma Dexter, and I would stay in the back room and I'd stay on her computer, and I'd find out about stuff that way. And for the last 2 years or so that I had the iPod, I figured out about Five Nights at Freddy's, and then I started putting all that stuff on there, which is why all my lock screen for that phone is the Scott Games thank you image that he released after FNAF 4, I believe. And then after a while, he started changing all the characters one by one to FNAF World. So that's that. I'm just so happy with that. I can't wait. I haven't looked on any of the Minecraft Pocket Edition worlds yet because I so badly like want to look at them like while I'm like recording. Because I feel like that would be a great reaction. But that's that for that iPod, man. That's that for that. That just filled me with so because I opened that today. That filled me with so much joy. That really did jolt something back into me a little bit. I still haven't done much of anything today. Uh, Mostly because I did that and I was like, that was cool. And I tried to find something to eat, so I ate a brick of ramen. I was like, that was good, but I need like real food. And then I found some stovetop stuffing, and then I opened that up, and I was like, this is smelly. It's not like smelly bad, but it's like like my whole house smells like stovetop stuffing right now. So I had like one bite of that, and I was like, I can't do this, and I threw it all away. So my whole house smells like stovetop stuffing. Uh, and then I guess ended up eating another brick or two of ramen. I don't usually eat this bad. I ate particularly like bad today, but I usually like some pineapple or like a sandwich. Yeah, that's my diet. Maybe I do need to eat better. Um, but no, I actually that stovetop stuffing that I threw away, I had to immediately run that bag out to the to the dumpster because one, it smelled entirely like stovetop stuffing in here, which would have been a nice thing because stovetop stuffing smells nice, but when it's in like a floral scented like trash bag, then the whole place smells like stovetop stuffing and a floral scented trash bag, so it just does not smell good. I had a blanket on the floor, and I was pacing around listening to some music, and I looked down and there's just like a big like crawling like roach just kind of like begging like hanging on for dear life like on the corner of the blanket. And it's not like a roach, it's like a palmetto bug. It's like something from, it's like the big giant ones from outside, you know, the big ones that look like a leaf because they live outside and not in your house. It's not like the tiny German ones. It was like the giant one. I fucking I I used to just think that I don't like those things, but now I think now I don't like this. I'm not saying this because I like this quality. I think I have a phobia of them because when I'm like near one, I just start breaking down. Like I actually like I can't fucking handle anything. Like it actually like I have like difficulty like fucking functioning. Like the only way I can get rid of those things is that once I douse them with enough bug spray, they die. Is I have to get my vacuum cleaner, use the hose attachment, put on the extender, put it on the floor, kick it very closely to the roach, and then turn it on from really far away. Like I have like I cannot stand those suckers, man. Like I'm really like all bad about it. They did not. It's nothing that like built like a nest in here or something like that. It's most definitely something that just came from outside because I have like terrible seal like on the doors to like my house, which I'm buying like better seals. I'm gonna get like some hairy shit. They just like wander in here, especially because it's like cold and they're just like looking for like it's like cold and wet outside, and they're just like looking for like a warm, dry place to like hide, I guess. And they come in here and they probably smell food, so they probably just stick around a little bit longer. And they probably only died because they have like some roach traps and like some roach gel in the cracks of my new place, because I'm like so just fucking, I'm just so terrified of them, man. I'm not terrified of them. I just fucking hate them. I just don't. I don't know. I just hate them. I fucking hate them. Like that like a normal person, right, would be able to take like a napkin, scrunch it up, and like throw that thing away in the garbage and go on about their day. That thing took up like an hour of my day. I'm not even gonna lie to you, of just like pacing around trying to figure out what the hell to do. I bought mothballs. Like what? Like what? Like I bought mothballs. I just put those everywhere. Like what? Like I don't understand. Tomorrow I'm gonna go to the store and get some roach spray. No, I don't think it's gonna do anything. It's just to make myself feel better. Cause I don't fucking know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not messed up in the head, because everybody's messed up in the head, right? I'm just not. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't fucking like it. But there might be. I think I'm gonna make this a bit of a longer episode of this here. I'm gonna make some tea. I'd like some tea right now. I keep trying to hold off on like things like late at night, because I keep thinking to myself, well, it's getting late. You want to eat anything too heavy before bed? Do I have enough? I don't have the minimum amount of water in here. That's gonna be a problem. I could go out to get water, but I'm not sure. I think I will. I think we're gonna go out to get water, and I'll come back when I have the water to make the tea. I'll be right back. All right. The tea is brewing. I had to make a couple more trips because I don't know how I did it, but I think like 2 times I forgot to get myself a cup. Well, the first time I forgot a cup, and the second time I forgot a spoon. Neither of which are things that I keep in a plethora of in my house. I don't know if I already talked about my living situation, but it's a little weird. I'll touch on it another day. One thing that has been piquing my interest, other than all the awful, terrible things that I was talking about, with exception of my wonderful, beautiful iPod, which can do no wrong, is I've been wising up a little bit on the audiophile scene lately. Just kind of learning what some components are. I'm nowhere near an expert, nor do I have a full coverage of all the basics, but I have a good amount of knowledge on what interests me, and a few of the key words and discussions and things like that I keep seeing popping up. Now, I hope this water boiling isn't too distracting, because I'm not gonna turn it off or wait for it to be done. But a few of the things I've been noticing, and I've mostly been brushing up on it because there's a part of me that really wants to build like a nice sounding setup to play all my CDs on, because right now I have gosh, what is it called? It's a Magnavox 445M something. It's a $55 Magnavox unit system that comes up. Here's a bit of a fun fact for you. When you look up stereo shelf systems on Amazon, which is a CD player that's small enough to fit on your shelf, when you look up those on Amazon, it ranks that as number 2 out of every single product on Amazon, and what it ranks number 1 as are tempered glass screen protectors for the iPhone 13. So it's technically number 1. It shouldn't be number 2. A bit of a goof up there on their end, which they're not going to fix. So is it really a goof up? I think it's just a cover up for some stupid bullshit nobody actually cares about. I have it. It's okay. I noticed that it's all right. It sounds pretty neat. Nothing spectacular. It really does. If you just have like CDs, like it gets the job done. If you have CDRs, aka burn CDs, you know, like when you go to Walmart, you buy blank CDs, you bring it home, you put music onto it, you burn it, you try to play it in something else. It will play them, I tried doing it one time and it didn't do it, and then it broke after that, as in it just stopped playing anything. It stopped connecting to Bluetooth. It stopped making noise. It stopped playing any CDs. It could read every single track on a CD, but it couldn't like make any noise for about a week or so, and then it just started working again. So now it just works again, and now it even plays burned CDs, but it does it very oddly. It likes to skip and stutter sometimes, mainly after you pause for a really long amount of time. Now it seems like with any CD, if you skip track back and then skip track forward a little too quickly, the CD will just stop spinning. It just won't know what to do. If you pause it for too long, it'll do the same thing. It's just a weird, bizarre little player. It has some quirks that aren't very appealing and it doesn't really have a good trade-off. Really, about the biggest benefit to it is that it really is just small enough to fit on a shelf, and I have the main player stuck between a bunch of books, and I have some speakers on either side of some CD holders that are holding the books together. So it's a nice, appealing looking setup, because it's not a bad looking system. It's like a neat, nice little tiny compact little system that's pretty stylish. It's got a big blue ring on it, and it's got some orange digits. I'm gonna have to stop myself right there from reviewing it, because what I really want to do is I really want to make like an actual like a video review on it. Like I want to make like a real review on it, my experience with it, and I'm just kind of spoiling it right now. Not that anybody's gonna see this. Nobody watches these. Everybody watches all the other videos. Those are what make me popular. The tea's done, by the way, which is nice because it's raining outside. It's only 7 p.m. Can you believe that like a month or two ago, like the sun would just now be setting, and now the sun sets at like 5:30. It's about to set at like 4. What a weird time, right? What a weird time we live in. Did I bring a spoon? I did bring a spoon. Let's go. Here's a bit of a hack for you. I know I keep putting off all the audiophile talk, but here's a bit of a hack for you. If you have a kettle like me and a metal roof above the kettle, and you want to get any wetness on the surface, go ahead and just fold up a paper towel into a triangular shape and stick it in the spout very loosely, and that'll stop a lot of the condensation from making its way through. Now let me tell you something. I would love a nice frosty cold energy drink right now, or like a cola, or like a Seagrams. Oh, I'd fucking kill for a Seagrams right now. I could just go for a nice frosty cold beverage right now, but I don't have one, so I'll settle for tea. And it's going to be hot, and it's not going to be what I want at all, but I'm going to tell you this, it's going to satisfy me in just about the same way, because my mind actually isn't craving. It's not actually craving a sweet, sugary, bubbly drink. It's actually just craving the sugar. Scalding tea on my hand. Ow. Let's take it back. What we do here is go back. Now, onto the audiophile babble. I would love to become an audiophile YouTuber and be friends with a bunch of 70-year-old men who are desperately chasing that one Mozart concert that they went to as a kid. That would be cool. Let's see. Here are a few audiophile topics that I have come across that either don't seem to have an answer or seem to have a very controversial answer. Or just questions I have in general, because some of these I don't get. One big thing is CDs versus records. There doesn't seem to be anything in the mix about laser discs, cassettes, or mini discs. I'm assuming because mini discs are just like CDs, and so are laser discs, but not as many people have them. I see more people own mini disc players than actual mini discs, but that's just me. I'm not sure. Maybe I just watch way too much Tecmo. That guy has like 5,000. That's not a real number. The guy has a lot of mini disc players, but I think he has like. But I've only ever seen him have like a few mini disc, like actual discs. Watch me say that, and then somebody easily find a screenshot of a video that he made talking about his mini disc collection, about all of his hundreds and hundreds of actual mini discs, not the players, but the actual discs. Watch me look real dumb and silly and stupid. But the main, rivalry is what sounds better, CDs or records. And some people want to throw streaming into the mix, but streaming, it's fine, but it's never going to sound the same as physical media, and it's not like a bad thing. It's like wireless headphones, like Bluetooth headphones, right? Like those can sound great. We could spend all the money in the world we want to make those sound amazing, but they're never ever going to beat wired connections because this is what they're made for. Audio is. This is what audio is made for. It's just like wired connections. It's like they just click so perfectly that replacing anything else with it isn't really going to work. Not to say that the alternative is bad at all. It's not. It's not even like a pitiful, like, oh no, it's okay. It's okay. It's like it's not bad at all. But it's just the wire is always going to come out like a hair above. Same thing with streaming versus physical media. But that's where people's real like argument comes towards, well, what's better, records or CDs? And it's almost I found, in my opinion, it's almost a fight either between personal preference or concern of quality, because CDs, this is just to me. This is not like an objective like thing. For me, CDs are better if you want quality. They have the highest quality. Like they're gonna have more detail. Like if it's just by the fraction of a decimal, it's like it's gonna have the most detail because it's like it's like Morse code and like laser and like hard ones and zeros being converted by a computer. So it's like at that point, you're getting all the information that you can. It's being converted by a computer that decrypts it. So at that point, it's not how good your CD is. As long as it's clean, it's fine. It's how good is your DAC, which is another thing I'll talk about in a sec. But if you're not concerned with like the down to the decimal how perfect it is, and you just want something that sounds great, vinyl curb stomps CD. Does that make sense? Vinyl sounds phenomenal. It doesn't have as much detail, but it doesn't need to because it just sounds better. How do I put it? It's like I'm trying to think of a good food analogy. That's because I'm hungry. It's like if CDs was like the most perfect, well-rounded meal, like it was a meal that encapsulated 100% of everything that you needed in a day. It's like a CD was like a big sandwich meal with a bunch of chips on the side. It's like the sandwich is 100% of your daily intake of vitamin D, B12, C, E, B. It has all this stuff. It's perfect. Like all your carbs, all your protein. Like it has everything. Like it's perfect. But then records was a big pan of ziti, and it's like ziti with spinach and artichoke and shit like that. So it's also healthy. CDs is healthier, like perfectly all around, specifically made for you. But records is almost there, but not really. But it tastes way better. Like I'm always gonna kill. I guess that even works too because that only like you're like, well, actually sandwich sounds better than ziti. It's like, good, then you're for CDs. I would love to be for vinyl, right? I would love to be for vinyl. Vinyl looks so much cooler. All the packaging is so much cooler. The look of having a milk crate filled with vinyls in the corner of your room is such a more badass look, right? I cannot take care of those bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like they look awesome, right? But will you consider that, like, if you're in like scorching temperatures, I'm not like talking like regular shit, but like scorching temperatures, those they can like melt, they can warp. If you touch them, they're fucked. Dust will crackle, but there's nothing you can do about it. You gotta clean the needle. If you don't clean the needle, you'll fuck up your record. It'll be done forever. If you get a bad press, it'll sound like shit. And well, do you want it to sound like shit, or do you want it to sound awesome? It's a personal preference. See how much emotional attachment do you have to it, and it becomes a thing where it's like it's so much maintenance and care. Oh, that's another thing. It's like well, you can get a record player, you could get to a speaker, and it'll sound nice. But if you want to take a hi-fi, you have to take that. You have to hook it up to a preamp. Well, what's a preamp? Well, it's a thing that feeds it more power, so it could feed into a regular amp, which feeds it more power, and then you put that into a DAC, so it can pick it apart, and then you put that into an amplifier, and then you put that into your speakers, and it's like you're so far down the rabbit hole. And it's like, Jesus Christ, what am I gonna do? It's too much shit. Not that it's bad. For some people, that's not much shit at all. But for someone like me, I'm like, that's cool, but it's not worth having a big, giant painting of an album. Like, it looks great, right? Like, it looks so nice. But for me, I cannot, it's not a trade-off for me, That's why, not to mention, Vinyls are cool, but they're always going to cost more than their CD counterpart. If you look at like a CD on Amazon that's like $20, its vinyl album version will be like $60. It's always going to be more expensive. Like I think like the lowest I've ever seen a vinyl for is like 20-ish bucks, but then the CD was like 5, so it's like, oh my god. So that's why I go with CDs. I still get all the album art that I like. I still get a booklet, like all the artists' thoughts, because those are actually cool. I get the physical media. I get to support the physical media. I get to hold my music. I get to keep it for myself. No streaming service can take it away from me if I forget to pay, if a contract falls through and they have to take all their shit off there. If a company collapses, I still have my music, you know. I don't have to maintenance it as hard. Literally, the only thing I have to do is not drop it. If I touch it, it's fine. I'll wipe it off. Its players are so much more cheaper. And if I ever want to go hi-fi, which is what I actually want to do, which is why I'm trying to educate myself, which why please forgive me for the gaps in my knowledge because I'm just not there yet. From my understanding, making a hi-fi setup for CDs would be easier and cheaper. Getting first-party products, it is, for me. Than getting records because I don't know where to look. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with my speaker? Anyways, if you wanted to do a record, you need a record player, right? You need a good record player because apparently there's some shitty record players out there because like vibrations and stuff fuck with it, I guess. You need a good record player. Then you need to hook it up, and I'm gonna get this wrong, but these are all the components you need. They're not in the right order what you hook it up to. I think you got to hook it up to a thing called a preamp first, which just makes it because it's like it's a needle scratching on some scribbles of a vibration. So you have to make that loud so something can understand it. So you hook it up to a preamp, and then you hook that up to like a DAC, which takes that information and it breaks it down to something else that something else can read, which is like an amp, and an amp makes that information and it makes it louder. Or you hook it up to a receiver first or something, which is basically just like, I guess a receiver could be almost the equivalent of like all the HDMI and video ports that you find on the back of your TV, but for audio. It's just you could hook up anything to there, like a receiver. It's like, oh, I could hook up my record player to the receiver, and then I could hook up my CD player to the receiver, and I could hook up my TV to the receiver. So it's almost like its own system. It's almost like switching the HDMI inputs on your TV, but you're switching it for your sound system. So instead of having your record player being an input, you could have your CD player being an input, or your DVD player being an input, so you could watch movies with your hi-fi system, stuff like that. Which is another big reason why people like getting into hi-fi, is because of they want to recreate that theater sound at home, you know. Which I get that. I like the theater sound. I'm a bit more fan of the amusement park intercom system sound, but that's another day, I guess. And then after that you gotta get like speakers, and then you have to find like a way to power them properly, because it's not like you just buy big, nice, expensive speakers and you have shit that sounds great, right? You also need to find a way to power them, because that stuff is like powerful. It needs like a lot of power. It needs to figure out like, you know, like how to work and stuff like that. Hold on. It's hot. It's too hot. It doesn't taste very good either. Now I'll talk about my tea another day because I'm gonna get off topic. I'm on a roll right now. I'm on a roll. Yeah, no, I was at a stopping point, so I'm not on a roll. I'm not on a roll at all. Vinyl is hard and expensive in my head, but the way that I've mapped it out for CDs, it seems to be a bit easier now. When you talk about the audiophile world, when it comes to CDs, people's top pick usually or typically would be a thing called a CD transport. It's not a CD player. It almost is, but it isn't. So think about it like this. You have a CD player, right? The one like a tiny circle one that you plug headphones into. What that CD player does is it reads the disc with the laser, and then it pumps out audio into headphones so that you can listen to it, right? What a CD transport would do is it's like a big giant square thing, and they cost like $700, so they're expensive. So you're thinking that they might do something extra, but what it actually is, it's the thing that that reads your disc, and instead of pumping out music, it pumps out ones and zeros. Now the thing with that is that your tiny little music player already pumps out ones and zeros. It just immediately converts them into music that you can listen to. The CD transport doesn't do that. It takes the CD and it pumps it out into ones and zeros, and then it lets you pump that out into something else. Now, the dilemma with that is, while it may be an awesome CD player that may actually like read tinier things or break things down in a different way, to make your CD sound better, right? The problem with that is you're spending $700 on something that doesn't even make any noise. That you have to spend like upwards of more. You have to spend at least another $150 to make it like make noise, right? And that's not even including speakers. It's including something else that could read that output and make it into something else, right? So like that's your dilemma. Why pay? You're paying more for less. You're paying for a CD player that can't make you any music, right? They could just give you ones and zeros that you could pump out into something else. So that seems a bit dog water. What's the solution? If we really do want ones and zeros instead of that, your solution would be to, and this is a holy grail, is you actually just using an old DVD player, because what you can do is an old DVD player, you put your DVD in, right? It reads it, and what it does is it takes those ones and zeros and it immediately pumps it out into a video signal so that you a video and an audio signal so that you could watch Shrek 2 on Blu-ray if you want. But what you would do instead is on the back there's a thing called a digital out coaxial cable or a digital out cable. The point is it's like a cable where it bypasses all of that, specifically the audio, not the video, but it bypasses all that audio bull mess where it will take the ones and zeros and it'll immediately make it into some music that you can listen to or some audio that you can listen to, and instead it'll be like, okay, if you plug a coaxial cable into the coaxial output, it'll be like, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hand off all these ones and zeros into the next thing, because you're supposed to plug that into like a sound bar so you can get the highest quality audio that you want. So what you can do, instead of spending $750 on a thing called a CD transport, which just makes you ones and zeros, you could just dig out your old DVD player from the attic, as long as it has a digital output, and hook that up into a thing called a DAC, which will take those ones and zeros and make it into higher quality music, because you're offloading the processing of that music instead of onto the DVD player. You're offloading it onto something else that is made just to make noise, and you can make even just as good sounding stuff now, but it's arguable how just as good it is. Audiophiles will be like, oh, there's some vibrations and stuff like that, but if you just want like some nice sounding audio, that's a great start, right? Like that's just like a great like portal into it. If it really doesn't sound like as amazing as you think it could, like, then you have that doorway into it. So basically my plan: dig out an old CD player, hook it up to a DAC/amp, which you can get like a combo of. It's a complicated, like, see, like I'm sitting here to explain it, but I'm like not getting all of it. But you need like a DAC, which transfers ones and zeros into music, and then you need an amp to make it loud, and then you could plug that into speakers, and then you get to listen to music. But one of the things that you could do is you could buy a DAC amp box that's like bundled together, not bundled together, because it's not like a bundle, like a 2-in-1 product. It's like literally like two things in like one box. You can get one of those. So you put your CD in the DVD player, plug it up to an amp/DAC, and then you can plug that into speakers, and then you're rocking. Now the only question is, how much do you care? Because after that, after spending like $80 on the speakers, just like some nice basic speakers, and then spending like $100 on an amp, $130 on an amp. Dear heavens, excuse me. And all your CDs and stuff like that, you're already like $200 in the hole, right? So it's like, you could buy a pre-made hi-fi system from LG for like $140. Comes with a subwoofer, 2 giant speakers, and a thing that reads CDs. Or you could spend $200 on making it yourself, but the real question is, how much better does it sound? And the problem is, you're never going to know how much better it sounds until you know how that equipment sounds. And you're not going to know how much better that equipment sounds until you buy it yourself and you figure it out. So that's where I'm at. I'm in a bit of a dilemma because I like this little shelf stereo Magnavox doohickey. I like it all right, but it's not. But it's like I want more, you know. But is that a problem with me? It's a little too existential. I do want like a nice high quality Sirius sound system to jam out to, to like put in here and blast to like while I work or like read. And it's not even like a matter of that, right? Like you gotta stop thinking just about like music. Like you could listen to movies on it. That's it. Well, you could listen to podcasts too, but you don't really like. You could listen to podcasts out of a shoebox, and it's like as long as you could hear what they're saying, like it serves its purpose, right? With music, it's as long as you could hear the tune, your brain fills in the gaps and makes the sounds better, because because your brain just wants to listen to good music, right? But sometimes you like have a song and you want to listen to every single detail, every single like rasp of the synth, every single like big hitchy beat of like a big bass drum. Is hitch like a slur or curse word? I made that up as like a way to describe the noise that I hear, like when I hear like a really well defined drum. So I hope that it's not a slur. That's all I have to say about that. I need to do that with a bit more certainty because that was actually the end of that topic. That's all I have to say about that. Was that good? So, agenda for me, at least, is I need to get back on track. First off, which is happening tonight, I need to clean this place because this is just, it's not revolting, right? But clean house, clean mind, clean soul, you know. I get off work like an hour early tomorrow, so I want to come home to like something nice and clean so I can unwind and then also hopefully get back to work. And I need good space to work in. I have a nice space to work in, but I need a good space to work in. It's like comfortably messy, but like not like I don't want it to be comfortably messy. Like I want some more organization and order in my life because my life it was so much more effort to organize, but my life was so much better. So need to clean, need to start reorganizing. I need to empty out the container in my vacuum because it has a dead roach in it, and I don't like the thought of that being in there. Need to buy bug spray tomorrow. I need to actually decide what I'm gonna do about that whole audio system, and I need to start setting up things to review this Magnavox shelf system because I actually do have some things to say about it that I think are interesting. You know, I want to actually like review it, and I want to give a good stab at it, and I hope that you will all be there in good faith or in bad faith to enjoy it or laugh at it. I just hope you're all there. That's all I hope for. And that's it. That's I nobody made it because like I guess I started to TO out as a joke, right? But not as a joke, just like as a thing. And it probably is just like the buzz of like getting like 500 views there and 1,000 views there on a video, right? But the buzz is going to my head, and all I have to say is if there is anybody out there who actually listened to the end of this episode, that's cool. Don't even say anything. Don't like comment or subscribe or anything. Like actually like dislike the video, please, because like I just think that's cool in general. Somebody sat down like this is. I don't know. I just think that's cool. I think that's neat, and I hope things go the way that they're going because everything's en route to its own sense of completion. Hope to do these more often too, because I feel like they help keep a bit of order and routine in my life, which I need some back. So I'll see you guys next time.